Okay, so we are going to work on personalizing files for purchase order 3. So this is the purchase order, and what you're going to do is first off look here in column E, and this is basically, column D and E are about the same. This is basically the SKU number of the template you're going to work from, in this case 27 spaceships. So go to the Finder window, which is right here. We'll go to Dropbox, Growth Chart Files, Master Image Library, Master Image Library, and then AI files for print. And you can see here, there's all the ones that are supposed to be in there and done and correct. Now, some of these are probably not yet 100% correct, but for the purposes of getting this purchase order 3 out the door, I'll skip why they may or may not be correct in 100% of the cases. We'll just jump right into it. So you can see that one says 27 there. So come over here to 27, there's space, it says spaceships personalized, that looks like the right one. So we'll double click it and open it up. If you get a font warning, just skip past it. So here it is. Basically I want you to just really quickly check the document setup and make sure that it's set up correctly. So it should say 9.7 by 4.2. And the way I did that is I just clicked on this document setup and then this edit artboards. Anyway, you can kind of see what that looks like. So everything looks pretty good. Go back to the spreadsheet and you can see over here in column P that Santino is the person's name. So you come back over here, click Santino, and now these names are obviously all various lengths. So if this name had been Al, like a really short name, in a lot of cases what I'll go ahead and do is just kind of expand the size of it just so that it fills it out a little bit better, and then try to center it so that it visually looks about right. Because you've got this measuring rulers over here on the right hand side, sometimes putting it in the dead center doesn't really look right because it has less room over here than it does over here, but just kind of eyeball it. Anyway, in this particular case it's Santino. So there's Santino, and I'll go ahead and just compress this down to about the right size. You can see here it's kind of feeling a little like it needs some breathing room compared to over here, so I'll move it over a little bit. And that looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty fine. And now we will go ahead and export this. So we'll go File, Export, and down here we have PO1, PO2. These are the print-ready JPEGs. So we're going to go ahead and make a new folder called Print JPEGs PO3 and save this. This is super important right here. JPEG, and click this thing right here called Use Artboards. What that does is it trims off any overbleed and keeps all the content inside the constraints of the canvas size, because a lot of these backgrounds have patterns and such that bleed off the canvas. So if you don't click that, then it'll print everything it sees. So that's critical. Make sure you click that in every case. Now the last step before we save it, we've got to put the actual order number here over the top of the title. So go back to the order number. The order number is right here. Not the product ID, but the order number is in column B. Go Command C or Apple C to copy it, and then come up here and you just highlight right to that underscore, paste it, and then you export. This should say RGB, that should say 150 ppi resolution. You're done. Click OK, and you can close this file and move on to the next one. Now it'll ask if you want to save that. You don't need to save it because remember you just would overwrite the master document, so just here you can say don't save and then move on to your next one. One last thing I'll sort of say is it's worth kind of being aware that many of these things are multiple child's names or multiple orders for the same growth chart. So some of these, I haven't looked very closely, but some of these, when you have the same growth chart open, you might want to just quickly look and see if there's another order that uses that, that particular one that you're actually working on. Like here you can see there's a 22 right there. And if you scroll down here, you can see there's, I just saw it, another 22 right here. So if you got 22 open, you might as well, do them both. You can resort your spreadsheet if you want so you can see that more clearly, but with this few orders in this particular purchase order. It doesn't really matter. So that's pretty much it. End of first video.